I guess my work, if you wanted to put it in a category, it would probably be conceptual realism. I use realistic imagery that people can recognize, but the concept of it, the idea, is much more important than the image. When I graduated from school in New York, School of Visual Arts, a friend of mine and myself, we hitchhiked across Europe to India. We went on the old hippie route. It was the best thing I ever did. I learned more about my own work and about myself doing that. And when we got into Nepal, all the way to Nepal, I first met Tibetan refugees. I had no idea what was going on over there. Connected in with the human rights situation, and that struck a chord. And since then, Carol, my wife, and I, we've worked with Tibetan refugees. I've been over there 12 times and got to know the Dalai Lama pretty well and had him here in Finley. We made a film, White Lotus, about the Tibetan culture. Tanya Bruguera, who we spent quite a bit of time with in Cuba, she's considered a dissident. And I thought, oh, you know, I got a British passport. I could go right down to Havana and interview her on my phone. And Carol says, you're not going without me. Our two videographers heard about it and said, hey, get us in on the project and we'll do a full-length documentary. It has been in 14 international film festivals. So it's won 6 awards, including in New York, it won Best Film of the Year at the New York Hudson International Film Festival, which completely took us by surprise. Finley has just been supportive, way more than I could imagine. They've been supportive for all of our projects. If I would have stayed in New York City, I would have never gotten half of these projects done.
Poetry leaders really affect people. I am always fed by seeing what other people are doing, by reading what their work is, by, you know, the more you read, the more you want to write. It's selfishly, I like being the person who, you know, kind of sets up the situation. I still do my art, but to be quite honest, part of my art at this point is creating those spaces. Arts advocacy is its own craft. From the point that I started finding that you could play with words and that you could think through difficult ideas for yourself, but also convey those ideas to other people, yeah, I was hooked. Now, to be fair, when I applied for the position, one of the questions is, what are your plans? Like, what do you have a central project, or do you have something? And I pretty much said, I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing for years, which is whenever anybody is touring with, a poet is touring, I'm going to invite, please come to Toledo. Whenever there are opportunities for workshops, I'm going to do that. You know, if there's an opportunity to get on stage and to pay a spoken word artist, I want to do that. I want the businesses to do well. I want the arts community to do well. And all you have to do is, like, the business has to open the doors and the artists have to show up. I think you'll find that in Toledo, when we have an open mic, like, everybody shows up. So there's a lot of different voices, and I'm very proud of that.
I've always been interested in making narrative, like, images. You know, most of my career I've worked in terms of, like, images that look like they tell a story. I think of all the things that I make, most of my career I've thought of them as paintings. Through the digital art residency at the museum, I realized that, like, maybe I'm not a painter. Like, maybe I'm somebody who makes things, like a non-siloed artist, like and the residency helped me understand that, like, the stuff that I'm making digitally doesn't necessarily have to be a painting in the end. It could exist as a digital work, right? And there's a whole space for that. So now I'm working physical paint. I'm also working, like, tablet drawing. With the residency, started making little animations, stepping my way into the world of NFTs and that kind of digital art space. So there's a bunch of new things that are sort of coming out of the residency. Yeah. One of the things that I love about making artwork is the discovery aspect of it. I mean, it's, like, hugely rewarding to, like, find something. I kind of have a bearing that I'm heading down, you know, like an idea of where the direction that I'm heading, but I don't know what the endpoint's going to be. And I found over and over that is very exciting. Like, getting to the endpoint, finding something that I didn't know existed is, like, super rewarding. Many of the big steps in my career as an artist have come from living here in Toledo, from opportunities that I've had to, like working for the university. This has given me the time and sort of energy to continue to make my work. And so to have CreativeOhio recognize the work that I've done is huge. And it also feels really special for me that this is happening in the same year that I'm serving as president of the board. I serve as an artist and president of the board, so that recognition in my tenure as president, that recognition is really important. So it makes me feel really good, yeah, for sure.